Good afternoon, collectors. It's been a while. I hope you're all having a good new year. And we here in Minnesota are having some interesting weather. In the last 24 hours, I believe we have had, at least at my house, we've had almost 18 inches of snow. And that causes a little havoc driving, just finding places to put it when you're clearing your driveway and your sidewalks. I've got trees in my front yard I can't even see. But hopefully you're someplace where you're safe and warm and excited about the new year, as we are here at Department 56. The first thing I'd like to do is do a little wrap up of our auction that we had in December. As you recall, we had, I believe it was 26 items that we had on our website that were up for auction. And we had some bets going on around here, but I'm thrilled to say that we are going to be presenting a check for Habitat for Humanity for $7,000. We made about $6,800 and some odd dollars on the auction itself, and then thanks to the generosity of one of our collectors, he said, "Hey, we've got to make it an even $7,000." So Richard, thank you. He sent us a check for the difference, and so Rick and I will be presenting a check to Habitat for Humanity for $7,000 thanks to your generous bids. And we hope you all are enjoying the quirky and unique things that were auctioned off. And maybe, in a couple of years we'll be able to do that again, hang on to a few of our just priceless, one-of-a-kind samples and things like that. So maybe again someday we'll do that. So thank you again for everyone's participation and interest and excitement about it. We have some guests today, or we were supposed to have two guests today, and we only have one because of this crazy weather and everybody's getting sick. We were supposed to have Amy Schaefbauer, who is our senior manager in charge of villages. She was supposed to join us, but she's a little under the weather today, so she couldn't make it. So Andrew, you're going to be filling in for both you and Amy. This is Andrew Nelson, who is, what is your correct title, Andrew?
Senior graphic designer.
Senior graphic designer, which means Andrew, are you in there?
Yes.
Is he on camera now? Good.
Yeah.
Andrew's in charge of all of the packaging that you see. And while that sounds like a pretty classy job, it's a lot of hard work, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we do so many every intro that is just a lot of stuff.
And it's not just villages that you do.
Nope. Well, we do village plus licensing, plus snow babies, plus anything that comes up that's new.
That's Department 56.
That's Department 56.
So that would be giftware and all that kind of stuff. And that's designing not only what it looks like, but sometimes the packaging too, how it goes together, things like that, right?
Yes. Yep. Sometimes, usually the factory will provide the styrofoam dye line for the packaging, but sometimes they'll ask us to kind of figure out how to make it work and do different sorts of materials and dye lines, kind of according to what the product is.
And how many colors you can use on the packaging?
Yeah.
The more colors, the more costly it is?
Sometimes. Usually they're pretty lenient about that. They kind of let us do whatever we want, and it doesn't seem to usually affect any of the costs. But sometimes if you start getting crazy with like aluminum foil or the matte finish and the gloss, then that can get spendy.
Or if you have a picture book that opens up, because we've done that a few times in the past, that
Yes.
probably would be more expensive.
Yes, that adds cost as well.
Okay. Well, Andrew, tell us just a little bit about, you've been here how long?
Just over 11 years.
11 years.
Going on 12 years.
So you've seen some changes.
Yes.
As a lot of us have. And Andrew brought along some samples of some of the new artwork for the new packaging. And before we show what Andrew has been working so hard on the last year, right? We're going to look just a little bit, and can you see this, Rebecca? Okay. We're going to kind of go through a little bit of the history of our packaging. And some of you that are longtime collectors, I'm sure, have seen things change over the years, but if you're a newer collector, some of this might be a little more interesting to you, just to see where we've come from. actually, the very first pieces we did were in plain corrugated boxes. And somebody must have used like one of those stamps that they used in the grocery store where you could change the number.
Oh, yeah.
And they just stamped a number on each box, no name, no picture, just an item number. So that's how we started out. And then the very first actual sleeve and packaging started in the early 80s. And this is an example of something from Dickens Village. And as you can see here, this is Dickens Village Giggles with Mutton and Ham. Actually, this is my piece, so that's why it looks as bad as it does.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had a black and white picture. Actually,
I forgot you guys' mic.
Oh,
So
you
if
forgot
wanna-
a mic.
If you want to just pop it between the two of you.
okay, all
And I
right.
think if I plug this in.
Yeah. Let's have a mic here so they can hear us a little better. It's actually started out with, and I don't think I have one. No, I don't have one here. But it actually started out with the black and white line work. So it was just the sketch like our artists do when we first started out. Then they started using the black and white images like this. And you can always tell the age of something by things like this. Heritage Village Collection was a name that we used to distinguish between our Snow Village and all of our other villages. Snow Village being ceramic and glazed, Heritage Village being porcelain and a matte finish. So anything that was called Heritage Village was matte and porcelain. And then here's, of course, we have the name of the series, Dickens Village, the name of the piece, and then hand-painted porcelain. And then this is something kind of interesting at the bottom. Rebecca, if you could kind of zero in on the logo. We changed our logo in 1999. We had a vice president who thought we needed to spruce things up, update things a little bit, and so that was a big push that she had when she was with the company, and changed the logo to what we see now. And
should we go to the next?
yep,
type of
the
packaging?
next type of packaging would have been this one. And this wasn't around yet when you started, so this
Nope.
is still before your time.
Correct.
So this is with our new logo. Up here, you can see in 1999, we changed that. A lot of our pieces would have some indicators that green was always Dickens Village, and if we have blue for Snow Village, it was very easy to see in the retail stores which were which. They always have the name of the series, and this one has the name of the piece, Scrooge and Marley, and this was from Christmas Carol, so that's always another indicator. So we tried to make it as obvious as possible which collections these belong to. And of course, we added color. So we have color illustration or color photographs on the packaging. We had a little of information about the series. So this talks about A Christmas Carol. This talks about the fact that it's in Dickens Village. It'll give the name and item number. It tells what's in the box. It shows a little peek inside because this one has an interior scene. It shows what that interior scene looked like. And that's kind of our second generation of packaging. Then we go on to the third generation, which Andrew's a little more familiar with.
Yes.
And this is from Swift's that just retired. A lot of the same information, but we really made a point, and this was something that we had to do legally, right, to add the French?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that was because?
Mainly because Canada, they came in and said, if you're going to sell here, then you need to add the French.
You need to add the
So,
French. Okay.
Yes, that is why we did that.
So, and because we have lots of good collectors up in Canada, we have the French on one side and the same, so it's exactly the same on the other side. Actually, we originally, when we were doing the French translations, we had someone in the art department who was fluent in French, and she did all of the box copy in French for us. So I think we probably hire someone now to
Yeah.
do that for us, the
Yeah.
French and now the
Spanish.
And
as
now
well.
the Spanish, okay. And Andrew will show that to us in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we added, some of the product details, what comes with it, what it comes with, what the replacement bulb with is, the coordinating accessory and things like that. And again, in English and in French on these. So that is our third generation. And then I think I just grabbed a whole bunch of pieces, and I think the same is true for all of these. So let's go on and take a look at what the new stuff is going to look like. And this is what you will see on pieces that are just being designed for this year. So this will be on all the 2023 pieces and going forward.
Correct.
So if it's a carryover piece, so if a piece actually like,
Like
the,
this, or you said this is retired?
that one's retired, but this one is not. Like the Dickens Village Counting House, that will look the same. So as pieces retire, you will create new packaging for new pieces.
Yep.
You're not going backwards because there aren't enough of you in one day to do that.
That's right. Not
Okay.
quite. That would be a lot of work.
That would be a lot of work. So this is a project that you've been working on for almost a year.
Yep. Yeah.
So tell us about it.
So I started researching last spring, and basically what happened was we'd been talking about updating the packaging for years, and basically people in the office came to me, 4 different people, and they're like, "We got to update the packaging." I'm like, "Okay, I agree. Let's do it." And we would always just be so busy that we weren't able to do it. And last spring, we kind of pulled the trigger, and it was just kind of like, all right, this is the time to do
So-
it. Let's do it. So
That's like with a lot of things. You just have to say, okay, now is the time,
It's like-
and we've got to do it now.
now this time is better, as good a time as ever. So.
And you said you did research. You looked at
Yep.
other packaging?
Yep. We kind of thought about what we wanted to do with the packaging, and I also went out to stores, did research online, and kind of sketched out a couple of different options about what to choose from, kind of get some different ideation, and we kind of took pieces from all the research and came up with kind of a cohesive design for all the lines.
I think
They're-
it's.
yeah.
I really like it. I really like
Thank
it.
you.
It's very clean
you.
looking, and it kind of befits the high quality of what's inside.
Exactly, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to show whoever's looking at the product, on the shelf, we want to come across as it being a high quality product, and they are just so, detailed, and they're just so nice. We wanted the packaging to reflect what was inside, the box.
So you will have a signature color for each package?
Correct.
For each line?
Yep.
Okay.
So for each line, we did decide to go with a different color for each series, which it was kind of a toss-up at first, because it adds, over the 6 different series, it does add some work as far as like the approval process and going through the factory process. So we just decided it was an important thing to have, and I think it is really
Yeah,
effective.
I mean, so when you go into the store, you see the green outline on the package, you'll know that's Dickens Village.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, this is actually a sneak peek too, to see kind of the new product and everything. So yeah, should I go through?
Yeah,
just kind
yeah.
of
Tell us
design?
what we'll see. Pretty much, this is pretty much what we'll see on every package.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I can go through all of them. But yeah,
But let's go through the detail just on one or
just
two
on
of
one.
them.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so in the past we've done the color of the logo as the color of the background.
Okay.
We've done that for in the past for these and for these and for the holiday gift sets.
Yeah.
So basically, what I wanted to do was do something a little different for the background color, which is where I took 2 colors that are not the color, but if you look at it, it looks similar. But when you look up close, you see that this is kind of a minty green with kind of a darker green on top of it that comes together to look similar to the logo, which I did for all the series.
Boy, that's a
colors.
lot of attention to detail.
Yeah, and especially I can just show this real quick.
Sure.
For this is an example of an accessory packaging sleeve, and this one I thought was really cool because it's kind of a lighter blue with a gray over it. The lines are gray, so then when you look at it, it looks like a dark gray.
Yeah.
When in fact it is kind of or it looks like a dark blue, but it is a lighter blue with kind of a bluish gray, which I thought that
And
turned
that's
out
Snow Village,
really
that
nice.
one. Yeah.
And so that's the Snow Village accessory. And I thought I really liked the way that color turned out. But we can go through some more of the details.
Sure, sure. Let's
All right.
have you show that.
Yep. And so, like I said, we wanted the quality of the product to come out on the packaging for a viewer looking to buy. And one thing that I thought was important that would be a really cool detail was to have the product inside an image where it is being displayed. As before, we had like this. Our older packaging did the trick. You know, it focuses in on the building or accessory,
Yeah.
but it's so. I thought it was such a cool idea to have
Show-
the
yeah.
product within a display. So then you're like, oh,
Almost
wow.
like in its natural habitat.
Yeah. And so
Instead of in the zoo.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was a cool. That was a really cool
Yeah.
idea.
Well, you're getting an idea of scale. You know, showing it on the table that it's not going to be this big, it's going to be this big, and
Yep.
showing
you
it
have
with some accessories and things like that.
Something similar in your home, you can
Yep.
display it similar to this. And then another thing, we on the front, everything is within the frame, and I did tone down the blacks. So it's not just a dark black; it's kind of a light. It's more of a dark gray, and I thought that kind of brought out the richness of our logo. You know, because if you just put the black, it's just kind of like so sharp. You know, this kind of warms it up a little bit. So we have everything in gray: the lines, the fonts, and the logo, and the logos on all the packaging were revised slightly. We added this the date of when the series started
I
as well.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was a nice touch. So
So, and then like on this one, it says since 1976. This one says
Yep.
since 1984. And
Yep.
it will be reflective on all the other. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
so I
that.
thought that was a cool idea. And then another thing is for our
I
package.
really like this frame that you've used. It's like looking into a high-end window.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not just a box, which I thought putting that curve on it made it, you know, that much more interesting. So that was a nice touch.
You've got the name in 3 different languages here.
Yep, which is that is needed when we sell in other countries. It is part of their, you know.
Well, even here in the United States, there are many people who English is not their first language,
Yep.
and whether it be French or Spanish, many people know those languages. So,
Yep.
yeah, it makes it more accessible to everyone, to the masses.
And so that also leads into the sides where we also include multiple languages. We have English, French, and Spanish, and it always goes in that order
Okay.
throughout the packaging. And on for all of our buildings, we have a story, you know, and so
Absolutely.
Yep, and so this gives a story of this building.
Is that
here.
some of the copy that I wrote?
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Hint, hint.
Yes, and it is really cool because it gives you a look into, you know, the product
Yeah.
and kind of, you
And
know,
Amy
tells the story.
sends me this list, and she says, "Write copy for this," and I haven't seen the pieces yet. So I'm doing some of it based on just the names. I'm like, "Can you help me a little bit here? Send me some pictures," and she does. So, but sometimes I start with very little information. And then I like this on the back here too.
Yeah. So this is similar to our other packaging where it does have the coordinating accessory. We do like to include the front and the back of the
Yeah,
product
nice.
because a lot of times if you're just seeing the front, the back also has tons of detail.
Yes.
So we thought that was very important to include the back as well. And then again, we have the names, the logo, and we also have for everything that's painted, so ceramics and porcelain, we have this little stamp that that just says hand painted. And I thought that was really important to include because it is, every piece is hand painted.
Yeah.
So that just
A lot
shows
of
how
hands
much detail.
touch these pieces.
Yeah, and they're handcrafted
Yeah.
as well as hand painted. So this is kind of a nice little stamp that just says this piece was handcrafted, hand painted. And then again, we do have the product details down here, along with the legal information.
Yeah, and it tells what the piece does. Now, this particular piece, it says it's a porcelain building with adapter cord and has a flashing light feature. So without opening up the box, you know what to expect inside.
And that's a different feature. That's kind of a special thing that we don't do all that often. So that is very important to know when you're buying it, purchasing it. So, yep, and that's English, French, Spanish. And then on the side, we have we have more information about our company. And then another really cool thing is the QR code.
QR code, yeah.
And that brings you to our website where there's a video that shows the whole process of how our buildings and accessories are made.
And then also, and Rebecca, I think this is something that you probably deal with. Like, for example, if it's an animated piece, and this I would consider an animated piece because it has the flashing light when you go into the product description. At some point, you'll have, and she's looking at me like.
On the website?
On the website.
I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly what's on the website for the, I believe there's a product detail section that should fill out to let you know if it's, has like a rotating piece.
Okay.
Or like a special light feature.
But I think with some of our pieces in the past, we have, if it's like, say, a skating pond, it'll show the skating pond, but then if it shows the animation, it'll show the pieces moving around.
We do have some of the pieces.
Some of
do
the
have
pieces-
videos.
some
They'll
of the
like, a
pieces
video
have
file in
videos?
There's like an image carousel on the product page, and one of the images in there will be a video that you can hit play, and it'll show you that.
Okay, all right,
information.
sounds good, yeah. Because we want to provide as much information before you make your purchase so that you're happy with your purchase when you've made it.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I don't know if I'm loud enough for the mic to catch me or not, because I know my voice is a little
Yeah,
right now.
and, yeah, poor Rebecca came in hacking and coughing, she's got a cold, so, we're just grateful she's here to help us out with this. Okay, what else do you want to show us? What other pieces?
All right. We can move on to, all right, so far we have Dickens, we have the Snow Village example.
Okay, we'll move that out of the way, yeah.
So yeah, this is pretty similar to the building. It
The
just-
QR code, is that something that we had not done previous to
Nope,
this
is
packaging?
brand new.
Okay, that's
Yep.
great, yeah.
Yep, and that,
You take that and I'll hold it up closer.
All right,
so you can
nice.
see it a little bit better.
and the main idea for that was to get consumers to see how detailed and the
Yeah, and we have
process-
we have a great new video, I think it previewed late last fall, that shows how our pieces are made. It's a little bit of an interview with some of our artists. It shows some of the production, it shows some of the sculpting, and it shows Curie painting, I believe.
Yeah, and sculpting as well.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and we kind of take that for granted because we're right here and we can walk into Curie's sculpting studio anytime and see exactly what she's doing. So let's look at North Pole.
Sorry, I'm just gonna show the back of this one real quick.
Okay. Are we getting some questions that we need to address or just,
I didn't, well, one might be a longer one to answer later, but just sort of why was it the time to update the packages?
because it hadn't been done in what, like 12 years, 11 years?
We think it's about 12 years.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure because I didn't work here before then, but I'm pretty sure it started right before I started working here.
Yeah, that's a long time for packaging to be the same. If you look at, even Coca-Cola has changed their packaging over time. And, we didn't want to change it so much that you wouldn't recognize it. We just want to make it better.
Yeah, and we really wanted to focus in on all the main details. As before, it was just kind of an outline with the logo and coordinating accessory, and we wanted to kind of go a step further with that. So this is North Pole Series, and on the front, since 1990, and it's very similar to the others. This color, on the background, I thought this was a really cool one too, because it's instead of just doing the same color as the logo, it's kind of a darker red with almost a pinkish red. Which
Yeah,
kind
it really, I mean, at a distance, you don't notice that it's
Yeah.
striped until you get right down in there, and striped and
And it
North
kind-
Pole kind of go together, don't
gives
they?
you that the candy cane feeling
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
'cause
exactly,
A lot of
exactly.
our stuff for North Pole is candy cane.
Yeah, we have lots of peppermint pieces.
Peppermints. Yep. Including the piece we were
Including
looking at.
this piece, which I think is going to be just a wonderful
Yeah.
piece for the line, the peppermint tea shop.
Yeah, that image turned out so nice.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, it fits right
And that
in.
takes a long time to, I mean, we have to have the products. We have to have final approval on, is it this stripe? Is it, is the roof line right? Is all of this right? Is the signage right? Then it goes to our photo studio. They take an outline picture of it, but then they also take it into a studio where they add all of the background information. They put snow with it. They put the accessories with it. They put
Like
trees
the
with it.
display image.
Yeah, and those pictures, some of those pictures, it might take them a whole day to do one picture.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we see a lot of those in the catalog as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And so, like for example, North Pole, all the North Pole pieces will be in a similar display image.
Okay, so they'll have that same kind of background to them?
Yep. And they're all placed on the same, either a ledge, a table, or
Fireplace mantle.
Fireplace mantle.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm. And again, the name in all three languages,
Mm-hmm.
Tienda de Te Peppermint.
And then we also called out that it is a porcelain building.
Yep.
On the front, or when it's ceramic, we call that out as well. So similar again, it has all of our information about our company, QR code at the bottom. Then we have front image, back, the back view of the image, coordinating accessory.
Yeah, and this one's really important because you can see here, and I didn't even realize that until you show this back image. There's that chimney that goes all the way up. And unless you see the back image, you don't know. So
wouldn't know
that's another shot that the photographer has to
Yep.
take.
Yep.
So,
And I do think it is very helpful, because then you
Yeah.
see, oh man, that is really cool on the back there.
yeah. Let's take a look at Halloween, because you had something else on
Sure.
Halloween you wanted us to take a look at.
Yeah. So
And we've got a Halloween piece here that I want to talk about
Someone
with,
does want to see a close-up of that. red
Oh,
one,
the North Pole?
one, yeah.
Sure. Here you go. Right. So this is the new Snow Village Halloween.
Close up for it. If I can hold it well.
here, you want me to?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure it actually goes in frame. That's the point. That's why.
That's okay. Yeah, doing it on an iPad like we do what you see and what you get are two different things
It's
sometimes.
a bit of an interesting experience, that's for sure. I think they were intrigued by you. It said like the striping that shows up.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yeah, but
Got
you
it.
know, kind of at a distance, you don't really notice the striping, but when you get
Mhm.
close up, there it is.
Yeah.
So,
Which is kind of a cool idea.
yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Was that your idea?
Yes. Well, I couldn't just do the same thing we've always done,
Yeah.
Had to spice it
Yep,
up a bit.
had to spice it up.
Make it,
Okay, so
rich.
here we have Halloween, and there's,
Mhm.
why don't you drag that other one in here too, so that you can show the other thing you wanted to show about this.
Yeah, so here is the Halloween, and we did keep similar colors. They are similar, but as you can see, they're not quite as red. But we also updated the Halloween logo, as you can see, from here to here.
Yeah, quite a bit different.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
very nice,
I
very nice.
I feel like this logo fits with this packaging a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree, it's cleaner.
Yep. And we did take off the Snow Village just for on the front, because this is laid out horizontally instead of vertically. So then on the sides, we have you can see it's Snow Village Halloween.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep. And on the front, it's just Department 56 Halloween.
Yeah, since 1998, which means 2023 is the silver anniversary. of Halloween, so there might be something special coming. And a new logo is appropriate once you've been around for 25 years.
Yep, so that is fitting for that.
And this one also indicates that this is part of Trick or Treat Lane, so
Yep, so that's an
it-
extra.
it's still, but it's an identifier that if people are just collecting Trick or Treat Lane, it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see what pieces belong to. That's the Kraken House, which I think is a weird house, but, you know.
Yeah, and this
I've-
image turned out so nice as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it really did. It really did. It's nice and bright, but the background is kind of
Nice and dark.
a little spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nice.
And also, instead of the bright white, this has kind of a creamish finish to the frame, and with the dark black, fitting with Halloween.
Yeah.
So
Wow, you really looked at tiny little details,
correct. Yep.
Andrew.
that
Really,
was-
really cool.
yeah.
Someone's wondering, are any of the licensed packagings getting updates like Disney Village or Grinch Village or anything like that? Are
That
they getting
is
updated
a
packaging?
good question, actually. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
we-
oh, they are as well?
Some of our licensed stuff, like some of our haunted mansion stuff, that goes within our package design
Mhm.
because it's within our series. And then we have the Grinch house as well. So
Mhm. That's part of
those
Snow
two-
Village.
Yep, and Christmas Vacation. But we are going to be updating Disney packaging, like the Disney, and also
So Mickey's Merry Christmas Village?
correct. Yep,
Mhm.
and also Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay,
Those will both have new designs for 23.
that aren't finished yet?
Not quite. we're working on those. Those will be coming up shortly.
Oh, well, this has been really, really interesting, Andrew. And, our collectors always like to see other faces, other people besides me that work on our products. And you can really tell by the little details that you put into each one of these. I would have said that was black and this is black, but when you really look at it, you can see some of the difference. It's just phenomenal. Let's just take a look at this. Did you
wanna
want
look at this one?
Did you want to show one more? Well,
Was it the phone you were gonna?
I was going to talk
I
about
just
the
wanted
phone.
to look at this real quick.
Okay, let's take a look.
This is just an example of sometimes when the product is much different than our
Yeah.
regular packaging. We had to kind of have one-offs where it
Okay.
would fit a little bit differently. So
Yeah.
if they are really short and long, then this is kind of the way.
And
this
that's
is set.
different, very different.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is a great new piece. This is this Art Deco train for Christmas in the City.
Mhm. And then we have the logo here.
And then this would be different because you don't have, it's kind of a different kind of a different
Yeah, shape and
shape.
This is
Thank you.
Yeah, we only do a couple of these, so these are not as common as the normal sleeves.
And so then show us the back on that one. So then, it's all like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you've got all the same information. It's just kind of set up just a little bit differently, but
Yep. Similar but different.
similar but different. Yeah,
Yep.
love it,
So
love
I
it.
just wanted to throw that in there.
Absolutely. Let's just very briefly at the end here, because we're running a little long today, but we had lots of interesting information. The haunted mansion. Just take the sleeve off of it for me once, Andrew. If you remember last year, we introduced new packaging, and you will be seeing this in a lot of our pieces going forward. And remember why we did this. This really, even though this is not going to break down into the environment and be recyclable, it is a lot more environmentally friendly for the factories over in China, because they were ending up with a lot of that crumbly styrofoam in their rivers and streams and so forth. And as you know, when you're taking stuff out of packaging, you get that styrofoam all over yourself. The packaging breaks much more easily. This will, I think you will, once you get used to it, I think you will really like it. I find the pieces are much easier to take out of the packaging, and they're a little more forgiving. So you're not going to have a piece that you're not going to be able to get out of the box. So just a reminder, this is the type of packaging you'll be looking for with Andrew's great new sleeves that have been designed, and we are really glad you joined us today. Thank you, Andrew. This was very informative, and I think the collectors have learned a lot.
Great.
New introductions will be up on the web within the next couple of weeks. Certainly by the end of January, we will also have the the 2023 brochure available for sale on the website by the end of January, or if some of you are lucky enough to be near a retail store where you can pick one up, those will probably be out by the end of the month as well. Next time we're going to be here, it will be Groundhog Day. And we're only going to do that once, not again and again and again. See you on February 2nd. Bye-bye.